This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff and all the homies.
Hello, friends.
We have all the homies here. It is Tuesday, October 22nd, and we had a bit of a shakeup in college football this week.
Yeah, I'd say.
We had a lot of interesting, unexpected news in the NFL, including some major trades.
Yeah.
And we had some members of this podcast attend a Sunday night football game.
That's us.
Quick question, Sam.
Yes.
Did you purchase any crystals?
No.
Nate?
No, but we did buy some glass blown pumpkins.
We went to the pump first.
Yeah. Alex, is that in the same classification?
Similar.
Similar? Things
Yeah.
that we find that shouldn't go places?
Oh yeah. Well, we have a whole list of those. I mean, that is.
I'll say if this
very
goes
broad-
any place on any human, I would be one, very impressed, and two, very disturbed.
Dude, that's a very broad category. Maybe a piece of that could go somewhere, or like the stem.
I don't want to break my pumpkin.
Does it have a big stem?
It does. It's a big curly stem.
Ooh.
Jim, was it you that shared that?
What's that?
Things that go places that shouldn't go places in
Yes.
the hospital world?
Yeah.
Right. As a reminder, it is Tuesday, October 22nd. We're going to chat about the NFL. We're going to chat about college football. We're going to chat about other interesting news in sports. And you, as always, can interact with us on the socials at SportsGymMuff on Instagram and X. I'm hearing more and more people say X instead of Twitter, so I feel like we have to make that transition.
I don't think we have to do shit.
It's just like the people yesterday, Muff, that keep referring to it as Heinz Field and not Acrisure Stadium. We're still going to say Twitter.
Water.
Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit all those action verbs.
Get the bell on.
Get that bell on. And remember, throughout the college football season, you can also interact with our sports betting episodes that come out on Thursdays. Had a good couple weeks. I think the public has had a good couple weeks. And we are also on that bandwagon.
Not bad. Not bad.
All right. Without any further ado, let's get into the week that was and currently is in the NFL, Week 7. Starting out, we did have some key trades that have happened throughout the past week. Most notably, the Raiders trading Davante Adams to the Jets, where he reunites with Aaron Rodgers. We had the Browns just totally punting on the season at this point, I think. Get Nick Chubb back, but then trade Amari Cooper to the Bills.
Yes.
Talk about the rich getting richer.
Indeed. And last, we had the Texans trade Cam Akers to the Vikings. I think that was the most surprising move, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's talk about shopping Garrett Wilson at one point.
Same thing about who's the other receiver? Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, he was pissed. Wasn't Cam Akers with the Vikings at one point?
No, he was with the
The
Rams.
Rams, but I thought they were somewhere else in between.
There may have been. He I think after his stint with the Rams, I think he's just been one of those afterthoughts
Yeah.
in a lot of situations. So, yeah, there may be others to come. I don't know. When's the NFL trade deadline? Anybody know? I feel like it's in November sometime.
I thought it was like November 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I haven't even heard him say anything about the deadline yet.
Yeah. With some quarterback injuries, we may have some other players on the move. But starting in Thursday Night Football, we had the Broncos just absolutely crushing the Saints 33-10 as the Saints rolled out Rattler at quarterback. The Saints losing streak extends to 5 games after we thought they actually had something going on. But alas, the injury bug has started to really, really catch up with them. Derek Carr out, Taysom Hill out, Chris Olave out, Rashid Shaheed on the IR. And they lose cornerback Paulson Adebo to a broken femur in this game. Alex, broken femur.
That is what they say is one of the most painful injuries that you can go through, especially if it's like a true snap femur. My guess is if it's probably a surgical problem. Probably needs a rod in it, depending on how bad it's snapped. Would be my guess. And like where, you know what I mean, like what part of the femur. But I've heard it is one of the most painful bones to break because it's so big.
Biggest bone in the body, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, it depends on
Just
who
the
you are.
amount of force it takes to do that. Like,
is right. Broncos, I mean, do what was expected in this game, I think. Javonte Williams had a pair of rushing touchdowns. Will Lutz had 4 field goals, getting back at his former team. Sean Payton returns to New Orleans and comes out victorious. Moving along to Sunday morning football action in London town. The Jaguars finishing their 2-game stint in England take out the Jaguars 32 or take out the Patriots 32-16, maybe delaying Doug Peterson firing for 1 week.
Nah, I still think he's hot. He's gonna get fired quickly.
Yeah, but not this week.
how quickly, Jim? Before or after Thanksgiving?
That's hard because the cons are like real family oriented. I want to say before. If he makes it till after, like he's gonna ride the whole season. I'm gonna go before. I'm gonna say before.
Don't have much time.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah. Game started out well for the Patriots. I think they drove down, had a touchdown. People were like, "Oh my God, Drake May," and then just the Jaguars just started to play football.
Can you do that again?
Which
my
part?
God, Drake May.
Oh my God, Drake May, way to go. So yep, there's a story. Jaguars go 1-1 in London. Seahawks, Falcons. Seahawks win this game 34-14. DK Metcalf was injured in this game. I'm unsure of what that status is. I just knew that it did have an impact on my fantasy football.
Thought I saw knee injury and he's week to week, the sprain.
All right. Falcons in this game. Ooh, what happened?
That cold.
Yeah, in regards to what, sir?
Kirk Cousins, their offense.
Yeah, I think Kirk
Any
Cousins
insight?
got hurt. I think Kirk Cousins got hurt. And then what's his face? Number 8 in the draft. What's his name?
Penix came in towards the end of the game. I don't know if it was because Cousins was hurt or not.
I thought he got hurt. I could be wrong. I could do some recon for you.
No, Penix was only 1 for 14 yards.
Yeah, I don't remember Kirk Cousins having a significant injury that I saw.
Awesome. It was just me assuming that, like, oh, we're going with this guy because he's hurt.
Well, just remember, Jim, if he did get hurt, he probably went frick.
Frick. Yes.
And he's got that old couple that's going to help him recover.
Yeah.
Oh, nuts.
What, Alex?
Oh, nuts.
Nuts.
Guy.
It's not Philip Rivers here. Come on. Next we have the Bills as Amari Cooper finds the end zone in his first game, and the Bills take down Mason Rudolph and the Titans 34-10.
So I saw the highlight of Amari Cooper's touchdown there, and he looks over at Keon Coleman like, dude, what route do I run?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. And he ends up with the touchdown.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that may be on the move, there is discussion about DeAndre Hopkins, who was not been a key part of the Titans offense at all. Up to this point this season, maybe being somebody that could be waived out to the masses for consideration.
He's so old.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who would take a chance on him that's like on that contending push. Like, do the Niners maybe with all their injuries? I mean, we'll get to that, but
Yeah, I think the Niners are definitely somebody that could be interested, whether or not they truly are. To be determined. Bengals. The Bengals get another win as they take down the hapless Browns 21-14. The Browns in this game saw Deshaun Watson carted off with a ruptured Achilles, and this was
That-
not at MetLife Field.
That thing exploded. You can see it explode. It's viral.
His Achilles.
yes.
Oh yeah, it snapped.
Yeah. Boom. Bad poop. Bad poop.
The Browns also have Dorian Thompson Robinson come in, have to go out with an injury, and have to go to the emergency quarterback, QB3, Jameis Winston.
I'm still surprised that Winston wasn't the backup to begin with.
The speculation is that maybe Jameis Winston was on the market to be considered for a trade to another team, whether that was to put him in a backup situation as an insurance policy. There's also speculation that he was QB3, an emergency quarterback, because people don't want to see him get in the game, because then they would really know that Deshaun Watson shouldn't be the starting quarterback, where DTR is DTR.
Interesting.
Oh, good.
Cleveland.
They
Indeed,
sucked.
I
the
mean, I can't.
Bengals do win.
Yeah, the problem is that DTR looked really good, but we have Deshaun Watson's previous performance to be comparing to. So
How much more money is Deshaun Watson guaranteed? Like 100 and some million?
This
Yeah.
has got to avoid some of that, right?
I don't know. I thought I saw somewhere that said he's still owed like 70 some in dead cap or whatever over the next couple of years.
I think he
Yeah.
said 70 some dead cats. To be honest, I was like, what?
Yeah, it was like-
That's
It's like his cap hit is like 70 some million each season the next 2 years.
yeah. He had all that guaranteed money, Jim. I don't think there's any voiding that.
So you mean to tell me that those idiots said we're going to pay you even if you like blow out yourself?
That's what guaranteed money is, buddy.
Oh my God.
Brown's
You know,
gonna,
who's laughing
Brown's
all
gonna
the way to the bank right now, other than Deshaun
his massage therapist,
and his agent.
also his agent. But the Bengals do get the win. I guess good for them. You got to start somewhere, and if win against the Browns is it, then it's it. Next we have the Packers on a last-second field goal, beating the Texans 24-22. James,
That's Muff's fault. That's Muff's fault. Muff put some bad juju beans on the Texans.
let's just gloss past the fact that Jim said, I am counting on the NFL, and the NFL is going to lead the way for me today. And
Hey,
I just
Alex,
responded. I
Alex.
responded to Jim's text message. That's all.
Alex, does that sound positive? Does my statement sound positive?
There were just a lot of like neutral vibes. I don't necessarily know that at any point we were being positive or negative. I feel
Mine
like
were positive.
you were being positive. You were being positive.
You were positive,
Okay.
but you also quick called your own team. And you well know you don't quick call your team.
I didn't quit call any team. I said I'm riding.
It was
with
in the middle
NFL.
of the game whenever
I
they
said
were
I'm
winning.
riding with the NFL.
Right. Also because you lost all of your college football games in the betting world. So obviously that was the implied situation that your bets were going to win.
Then you decided to take a doo-doo on the Texans.
I literally just said, watch your mouth, buddy. You're quick calling this.
And boom, what happened? My bet still hit, but you shot on the Texans.
Hey, you want your bets to win? Or you want your team to win?
I want my team to win, to be honest with you.
Can't always have it all, buddy.
You right.
Packers did debut their new all-white uniforms. It was interesting. Just, I don't know.
Not a fan.
You want to see more green when the Packers are playing, right?
Mm-hmm. That, and I'm not a fan of teams wearing white at home ever.
That's also a thought. Jim, any thoughts on the Texans? Good, bad? I mean, this was a marquee matchup, right?
I think that like their passing struggles are starting to become like very obvious. They can't get in a rhythm. I still contend that that Stephon Diggs is a great asset, but he tends to be a fly in the ointment in some way, shape, or form. Picks a fight with the entire Packers pregame. Like Nico Collins misses a game because of his injury. Tank Dell, they can't get anything started. Dell's dropping passes. It just the rhythm's not there.
I don't think Dell had a single catch, correct?
No, I think he had 4 targets and dropped all 4.
Goose eggs. I started him because Nico Collins is out. Guess what? Goose eggs.
It just
The only consistent person for that team's been Joe Mixon so far this year, right?
yeah.
And
It's just
he
not
was
great.
out for a week or two for an injury. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked
Mhm.
good this week.
So
but
he
I
just
mean,
came back from an injury.
Yeah. So, are you still positive on the Texans? Is this just losing to a better team on that day?
I'm positive on the Texans. I mean, they hung in there.
Yeah.
It's a field goal. I think they'll get it together.
they're like a young team for the most part. I mean, other than
Yeah.
Jim Mixon, who's doing well. I think that they just need to get it together.
Yeah.
Here we go. There's the answer. Get it together, kids. Get it
Really.
together.
I think it can quickly get away from him though. Very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, there's CJ Stroud injury away. And I'm not saying catastrophic end of year, but
Yep.
if he's out for 2 or 3 weeks, I agree this could go the wrong way quickly.
Yep.
Next, the Colts behind Anthony Richardson starting beat the Dolphins 16-10.
Yeah,
And-
this game happened.
Dolphins are
yeah,
dead.
right. This happened.
Someone call PETA because there is abuse happening to animals.
And then we
Animals
got
and
the
dolphins.
punch drunk Tua saying he's coming back and not
Yeah,
wearing
he,
his
he looked like maybe I'm just reading into it, but he look a little crazy eyed. He had a little bit of Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
in his
Yeah, he definitely was like, I definitely don't want to be here doing this interview. Yeah, I'm gonna play.
He's like,
Tough
yeah,
shit.
I'm wearing a stupid commander cap or whatever, guardian cap.
and I talked to my family. We had a
I talked to my
conversation.
family and I basically said, guys, I don't care what you tell me.
I'll die for this game, is what he said. I'll love this game to death. All right, moron, you're 1 hit away.
So, all of those very valid points. One thing I do want to bring up is I think that the Guardian cap, I think the helmet that quarterbacks have the ability to wear negates the Guardian cap need.
Okay, that's not my concern. I know you don't have the ticky talk, so you didn't get the whole thing. It's the other shit and the way he said it and how he enunciated his words and the way he spoke that he probably shouldn't have any cap. He should be a bubble boy.
It wasn't manipulated in any way, just so we're clear.
From what I saw, you guys can vouch for me. I didn't see any manipulation that would affect his.
No, they were pretty straightforward questions.
No, his responses.
Oh,
Didn't-
no, his responses, I mean,
I'm just
Oh.
saying there's no use of audio technology to manipulate to
No.
make this seem worse. Okay. I didn't see it, didn't hear it. Unsure.
It just seemed like all the screws weren't all tightened down.
And
I
he's
just-
scheduled to potentially start.
And he's
This
on
week?
the track. He's
Okay.
out of protocol, I believe. I think the bigger issue for me is when they were you realize, and this is me paraphrasing in Jim bombastic way, and Alex, the medical degenerate, can step in here. They were like, hey, you know that once you get 1 or 2, that tends to happen more frequent. And he was like, yep. I was like,
he's
all
like,
right.
yeah, I know, and I don't care.
And the doctors are cool with that. He's like, I spoke to him.
I mean, I don't know if they're cool with it, but I don't know that it's their choice.
Right.
You're cool with it.
Part of me says it should be because it's the same concept as when you pull them off the field for the initial incident. It's at what point do they have the right to say, hey, it's literally not safe for you to keep getting these, you're done.
What is it called when you leave against doctor's wishes, Alex?
Against medical advice, AMA.
Yeah. Yep. I feel like this is that situation. He's probably got to
Like,
sign
definitely have to
something.
sign some kind of waiver that
Right.
says the NFL is not liable for whatever happens to you from here.
Bingo. I feel like there's some of that happening.
And I definitely cannot knock the NFL for enforcing that kind of thing.
Right. So more to come. More to come on Tua and the Dolphins situation moving forward. In the game, I mean, was this the game of the early slate? Or would we say the Texans Packers was the game of the early slate?
The Dolphins, I like the Lions Vikings better, but
All right. We had the
I bet.
Lions. You're behind that, Jim?
The Lions Vikings were what was on my television.
Okay. The Lions beat the formerly now undefeated Vikings 31-29. Again, behind a late field goal from Jake Bates coming over from the UFL.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Jim, Alex, this is all you.
I mean, it was a good game. It was fun to watch. Like, that's what that's
I
my
watched I watched the red zone version of it. So I caught all of the highlight plays. So all of the highlight plays were exciting. At the very end of the game, MCDC getting super hyped up with Jared Goff was exciting. And I think that's like that picture there is kind of why I like the Lions, like between them and the team and the players and the fans, like people were like bought in, they're hyped for it. They aren't butt heads all the time. Like they're not a team, like I feel like some teams like you just like start to hate when they have strong personalities, and I feel like the Lions have a strong personality that like makes you like them more.
Yeah, the Lions are a very likable team.
Yeah, I mean they have, and if you look at what they have going on right now, I mean you have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs, it's like one or the other has a huge game, and the other one has a good game.
Sonic and Knuckles.
Yes, I was just gonna say Sonic and Knuckles, um, which is kind of funny. Isn't Knuckles a girl?
No.
Knuckles, I don't
really
think it was gender
Knuckles on the
specific.
Prime. Knuckles on the Prime. Amazon Prime Television. No, Paramount Plus is, I believe, has a male voice. Still not defined exactly.
All right, I don't know why for some reason I was thinking Knuckles was a girl. But
Tails, however,
maybe that. Okay. Tails is a girl. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes me feel better because I kind of thought Knuckles was a girl, and I don't care. They cannot choose to be Knuckles if they want, but
right.
it just is different. Jared Goff doesn't get enough attention for how he's playing at the quarterback position right now.
I agree with that.
Super good. And your tight end game's good. You have Sam Laporta and Brock Wright. I mean, you just every position you can go down and name a couple people that are really freaking good. And I think that as long as they keep playing the way they're playing, they are genuine Super Bowl contenders.
I think
And without Aiden Hutchinson?
Yeah, even without Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, watching them play yesterday, they definitely lost something. I mean, that's an important piece.
I think there's a leadership thing that's lost.
Yeah, but I think that their offense is good enough that if their defense can just hold it together, they will get through.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know that they can win the Super Bowl. I don't know if you can beat a team like the Chiefs.
Oh, Nate.
But
Alex, Aiden Hutchinson, I believe there's a direct question asked about his recovery, and it was not explicitly stated that he would not be able to play in the Super Bowl.
Holy shit.
All other medical advice and all our medical discussions have stated that's less than 4 months away. This is impossible. Like, no matter what advances we have in modern medicine and science, this is not possible.
Is it okay? I don't want to say not possible, because I mean technically it's possible, but I think that it is more of a ploy for hype than a true. I think it's similar to the Aaron Rodgers might come back at the end of last season. I think deep down we all knew Aaron Rodgers was coming back, but it was really fun to be hyped about the fact that Aaron Rodgers might come back. I truly believe this is a similar situation with Aiden Hutchinson.
I can say
Also,
that
like Evans just tweaked his hammy, and it looked really, really sad.
This game was the most fun to watch and not care about a bet. Like, I know I had a bet, not care about the bet, not care about fantasy football, not care about a podcast, and just like let go and watch. Like, the Viking fan base is amazing. And like the crowd was into it, the Lions were into it. it was the first NFL game I've watched in a while where it didn't feel like the NFL. Like everybody was actually wanting to play. It was cool to watch that game.
I watched some of it, I will say. Watched most of the fourth quarter, so I saw the fun stuff. Next, we have the Eagles taking down the Giants at MetLife, 28-3. AJ Brown had a big day. Devontae Smith, not so much. Saquon Barkley returns to MetLife and just sticks it to the Giants.
There was some cool, again, tiki-talkies where they were like, hey, Saquon, you're 13 yards away from like your single game record. You can play if you want to. You can go get it. It's up to you. He was like, no, let the young guys eat. And it was like, are you sure? It's like, yeah, I don't care. Let the young guys go play. I was like, I like you even more now.
Yeah, I think there was a pregame, not pregame, but earlier in the week question that asked like how prepared, how excited, how hyped he was for this, and he said, "I can't wait for a 3rd and 1 play, like just to pound the ball. Just wanted to like inflict pain." I was like,
But
"Oh,
like that was his chance to like really rub it in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get those. And he was like, no, my job here is done. Like I've proven my point. So I a lot of respect for that guy.
Next we have the Rams take down the Raiders 20-15 as Aiden O'Connell, QB2, suffers a broken thumb, placed on the IR, gonna miss 4 to 6 weeks."
So a quarterback got a hand injury, and we can tell you how long he's going to be out. Hey, Utah, see how that works?
I don't think they have the same reporting requirements in college as they do in the NFL, Jim.
I'm just saying. Might be able to pull that off.
I saw nothing of this game all day.
Neither did I.
Nope.
Rams won. There we go. The Commanders
Bum, 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 bum.
destroy the Panthers 40-7. But Jaden Daniels does leave with a rib injury and is considered week to week. His mom took to social media on X and Instagram to say he's going to be all right.
What the hell's X?
Twitter.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thoughts on this game? Commanders. Mariota coming in.
I mean, if Jaden Daniels comes back quick, the Commanders are clipping along. I mean, I know it's just the Panthers and the Panthers are garbage, but 40-7 in the NFL is just stomping.
If you're the Panthers, like just similar to the Browns, except you don't have a giant in a money pit that's now broken.
Oh, I
What
think
is-
I think the Panthers do have a giant money pit of former contracts that are counting towards their cap to this.
Is that
tune of,
right?
Like, yeah, to like David Tepper, I think is screwed Luke Kuechly and the new management for the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh, all right. So they're in the same boat. They're the Cleveland of the South.
Perfect. I like that.
Okay.
Except for they don't have a rookie quarterback in the situation right now. They've got Jameis Winston, so it's like the opposite. But yeah,
Well, give it a year. We'll pick one up, buddy.
you're right. You're right. And the marquee matchup of the afternoon games, we had the Chiefs staying undefeated and beating the 49ers 28-18. Brock Purdy has a bad game for him. Just a bad game. I think it's a bad game overall, not just for him. Brandon Ayuk is out for the season after suffering a knee injury. Deebo Samuel, Nate just said before we started, out expected to be out with the pneumonia.
Mhm.
McCaffrey is out
Still
still.
out.
You still in Germany trying to figure it out, or
Kittle is.
Banged
questionable?
up.
I mean, it's basically the meat wagon over there.
Yeah, their offense is definitely a mash unit,
Ugh.
but the Chiefs somehow find another way to win. Like, I feel like this is the Chiefs' situation right now. Is they're gonna keep playing, winning ugly. I'm not gonna say they're gonna stay undefeated, but around week 13, 14, 15.
It all clicked together.
Yep, I feel like that's what we're gonna see again.
Yeah.
They better not be the ones to go out and get D-Hop.
I mean, it would make sense.
It would, but no.
Noah Gray. I was watching some of this game. Noah Gray their second string tight end, is a good compliment to Travis Kelce right now.
Yeah, Kelsey's hyped him up before previous time or a few times as well.
Right. And I think it's just saving
They
some
were-
wear and tear on Kelce at the same time, which is also good.
Well, there were a couple plays yesterday where you start to see how good of a tight end he is and has been overshadowed by Kelsey because, the NFL has caught on to the fact that Kelsey is the man. You have to guard him. And in order to guard him, you have to leave someone else open. And I think oftentimes it's been Noah Gray. And he's not just making the easy plays, but he's making some of those more difficult catches that you would see Kelsey-esque make. So I've noted him recently as well.
And in Sunday night football, we had the Steelers who trotted out Russell Wilson to take on Aaron Rodgers and the new look Jets with Devontae Williams. And the Steelers had a solid game from Najee Harris, George Pickens, and Russell Wilson. Win the game 37-15, scoring 31 unanswered points, and pitch a second half shutout, picking off Aaron Rodgers twice, both by who, Alex?
Beanie Bishop, the Beanie Baby, the Mountaineer alum, had the game of his life. Hats off.
Indeed.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard that he wanted to get hit the ball signed by Aaron Rodgers.
Me.
I mean, that's kind of funny to think like I picked off Aaron Rodgers twice, and I don't know as for Aaron Rodgers, do you take that as like a compliment, like oh wow, like that was a really big game for this guy, or like get that ball out of my freaking face? I think you wait.
I think as a rookie player doing it, I think he'd be like, "Get this out of my face." If it was a vet, he'd be like, "All right."
I think that it's one of those things you wait and you hang on to the ball, and then later down the road you meet him somewhere and you're like,
Hey man.
like when it's not like fresh. But either way, I thought it was funny, and I was happy for him.
Alex, how you feel about Russell Wilson's first start?
I was at first I was like, put Justin Fields in, and I think everyone had that feeling like, what are we doing here? He was struggling on third down. He was struggling on the red zone. He was struggling in areas where Justin Fields would have done better. However, in the second half, you cannot argue that he turned it around. I think that Russell Wilson playing is a better match for like our George Pickens type receivers. They talked about it a lot, but just him throwing the ball up and letting George Pickens go and get it, which George Pickens is good at, and Russell Wilson's better at throwing the ball up. I do think that there are areas where we can work a two quarterback system, like areas where I noticed Russell Wilson struggles more. Is there a way to get Justin Fields into those situations and kind of utilize both of their strong points? I'm not an NFL coach, so I don't know how that would look or work. But I would like to see Justin Fields get worked in some. But overall, I was happy with him. You can't be unhappy with that performance as a Steeler fan.
Nate, Sam, as people that were at the game, how did this game play out from your perspective, whether that's from the Steelers fans that I'm sure were around you or Jets fans that may have been near as well?
So first quarter, they drove right down the field and got a field goal. So I think people were like, okay, first drive looks good. Let's see if we can get some more of this. And then they struggled the rest of the quarter. Started in the second quarter. They had a couple consecutive 3-and-outs, and there were chants all over for Fields. And then finally, all of a sudden, they just started clicking. And I thought a couple of times there, he had like severely underthrown the ball where he had Pickens open, and all he had to do was get separation, and he laid it up short where he had that like juggling catch. And the one where he overthrew Freiermuth, and he had that one-handed catch. So, I mean, I think there were signs that Russell was a little bit rusty as far as the touch on the ball and timing. But I also like them getting that huge tight end, Darnell Washington, involved, because that just adds another weapon. And it was just crazy to me how he snuck out like on the same play-action play 3 or 4 times over and over and over again.
Definitely adds a new wrinkle. Creates those levels where if he's the underneath guy and you have Freiermuth or other, maybe the second or third receivers on the roster split out behind him, then you maybe open up some room for him on the second level. So definitely going to be fun to see how that goes. Other closing thoughts, Alex, Jim?
No,
No. I'm gonna stay quiet on this one. Let this all play out.
You don't, I mean, you have an opinion.
No, I truly don't.
Okay. Live look in the 2 Monday Night Football games. Ravens at the Bucks.
Right now, the Ravens are driving after Baker throws an interception in the end zone. Shocker.
Well, after Mike
Baker.
Evans drops a touchdown pass because his hamstring.
Yeah, Mike did drop. He did catch his 100th career NFL receiving touchdown, and then, like Alex said, dropped one in the end zone. And I don't know if his hamstring really went or what, but he acted like that really hurt.
I feel like it definitely really did
But-
whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he definitely was pushing it, given it was Monday night. He wanted to get that 100th catch at home and blah blah blah.
Why are we not using Zay Flowers at all now? Was he
And
out?
When he did it, it was like he went stiff as a board. So
Mhm.
it looked painful. A live update. I don't know if Nate wants to talk about it, but wait.
No, jailbreak screen basically, and the Ravens just took the lead with 4.5 to go in the half.
I didn't know because my TV's ahead of Nate's, so I'm trying not to live react to things so that he doesn't get his experience of watching the game ruined.
I don't get what it is. Your work TV's ahead of mine. Your home TV's ahead of mine.
I'm just quick.
Apparently, different parts of Wheeling. In the
I have no
greater
idea what's
Wheeling
going on in
area.
the first small portion of the Chargers Cardinals game. It started at 9. It looks like it is 0-0.
All right. All right. Any final
Exclusively on
thought?
ESPN Plus.
Hmm?
So the
Any-
Chargers, the Cardinals game is exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, so I'm not watching.
All right. Any final thoughts on NFL Week 7?
No.
Got none.
Moving into college football Week 8. Starting out the NCAA in a deviation from how things typically get done within that organization, issued a new rules interpretation on how to handle the penalty for 12 players on the field in the final 2 minutes of either half. Nate, explain this to the people.
So, given what happened in the Oregon-Ohio State game, NCAA stepped and said, okay, we can't allow this shit to happen again. So now if the defense has 12 players participating during the down, the offense can choose, along with the 5-yard penalty, to have the game clock reset to the time that had been displayed prior to the snap. So, long story short, they can take the penalty and not lose any time off the clock like you normally would. And then there is no time change would be made if there were 12 on the field, but one of them, as you see them mainly in the NFL, where they're trying to sprint to get off before the ball is snapped. In that case, you do not get your time back because he is not influencing the play whatsoever.
Okay. Moved quickly on this. Was there, Jim, any discussion in Columbus World that they had any influence on this as a powerhouse in the college football world?
No. No.
No. I just, the fact this moved quickly, I feel like, and I'm not just saying just Ohio State, I'm just saying there had to be some push from some groups. I'm not saying all teams, but like
I don't know.
somebody had to push this.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think I'm sure Ryan Day crying and bitching and moaning maybe helped, but I also think that Lanning coming out and saying, "Well, I did not do that on purpose," and then when you have the analyst breaking it down for a week, and then Urban Meyer goes, "If that was done on purpose, he's smarter than I am, and I would be using that like crazy." There's enough hype around that one situation that I think that was enough to do it, but I don't think Ohio State fandom thinks anything about that play costing Ohio State that game.
Oh no,
whatsoever.
I was thinking bigger picture, not.
No, I'm saying I don't think that lingered enough in their minds to bitch and moan as a fandom.
Got it. That was just a kind of a footnote in the
Yeah.
game situation.
Yeah.
Not good, but not the only thing that did it.
No.
Got it.
There's way bigger issues that they'll bitch and moan about.
Got it. All right. Of the teams of fandom in this podcast, only one of them played this week. They did play a ranked opponent, and WVU sucked the big one, Alex, losing to Kansas State 45-18.
Okay. I'm disenchanted. I'm just really starting to struggle.
Starting to struggle in your
I'm
fandom.
not. Hey, Neil, I'm not having fun.
But the
Is-
weather was good, Alex.
I wasn't there. I enjoyed the weather at home.
I mean, the weather was good at the game we were at, which wasn't this game. So, Alex, is it time?
It's all past time
Wait,
to fire
when
Neil Brown.
exactly was it time?
Like Saturday night, right after the game.
Okay.
The fact that Monday morning just passed by and I didn't get the announcement that he's fired is wild to me.
Okay. Fair enough.
I want his head.
Want it
Alright.
displayed like over the hospital?
Yes, but not really, because he seems like a nice guy, but he needs to go before I get mad at him.
All right.
This is one of those things where I want to be like, sir, I don't want to fire you, so I'm going to let you quit. Please quit.
Okay.
I don't want to hurt you, but you need to go.
WU plays at Arizona this week.
If we don't
Penn-
win in Arizona, I'm really going to start getting like
Oh
antsy.
boy. Oh boy.
Just
All right.
saying.
Alex and I have some games to go to still, so this could be interesting for me to observe.
Like
Penn State coming off a bye travels to Wisconsin for Saturday night football, primetime football at Wisconsin.
Is this the Peacock game?
What?
I believe. I mean, Saturday night. I'm assuming so.
Ugh.
Oh,
I-
'cause
you
can't
know what
watch
needs to be
Fox.
like, you know what needs to be activated and fan bases need to revolt? Peacock.
Well, because you're just mad because you can't watch it on your YouTube TV square.
Yeah, that's one. The announcers suck. Like the broadcast team is hellacious. It's tied with CBS's broadcasting. Ugh.
Peacock, Fox, and the Big Ten need to get together and figure this shit out. Because
Yes.
Penn State, Ohio State's already been announced as the big
Oh,
noon
Muff.
kickoff.
Please, let's go. Let's rumble because I got thoughts on that one too.
None of mine are positive.
I don't understand why we give a shit about, unless you're mad that you don't get to do your whiteout bullshit, which I'm assuming is
No,
one of the
that
key
that had already
factors.
been announced. That was the Washington game from like the beginning of the season.
Then I don't know why we care, and I see both fan bases being all pissed off that that's a noon game. Why do we care?
Because I want these types of matchups to be in prime time. That's where all the eyes are. Fox just wants this big noon because they don't want to compete against the primetime games. And I understand that as a network standpoint, but I want to watch college football prime time
As a
major
fan,
matchups at 7 or 8 o'clock. I don't want to watch them at noon.
I'm okay with noon. Give me noon. I think the fan base is being pissed off is silly. Give me noon.
Because why do you like noon?
Because I can fit the rest of my day around it.
I think of the opposite.
yeah, you can get everything done and then just relax.
No way. Give me noon. Give me noon.
I understand this works for your personal situation, but if the masses want this, give it to the masses. Let them eat the cake.
So they consider it like half-ass drunk. Plus, I think it works in Ohio State's favor.
Right. Well, there you go. Bury the lead.
I'm all about it.
Get the
I'm
hell
all
out
about
of
it.
here. This is okay. Next primetime matchup for Ohio State's at noon. Or
It
not
was.
primetime.
Well, no, I mean it
What,
is.
who have they played? Oregon?
Yeah, but it was at Oregon.
That wasn't.
That wasn't at noon.
It was
It
7:30.
was in Oregon land.
It was a middle of the
3.
afternoon game.
Three.
Jim.
7:30, so it was like 3:30,
Yeah.
4:30.
That's not noon.
Hey, our
And that was
primetime
that was
games at
prime
noon
time. That was
every
prime
year,
time for
buddy.
the East Coast.
Our primetime games at noon every year.
Well, I said that wrong. A primetime game is not at noon. Your highlight matchup is at noon.
Every year.
I understand the tradition to that.
Why y'all bitching? That's right,
Remember-
because you don't have a rival.
You've already told me who the rival is, Jim.
But you deny it vehemently. You don't have a rival.
That's fine. And if we did, I wouldn't want it to be a noon kick.
You just want us to be your prime time game.
It's
so
a
you can
top
say, "Oh,
five-
there's our rival."
It's
Alex,
going
all I
to be
know
a-
is if they're bickering this much, wait till next week.
it's going to
I
be a
know.
top 5
I'm
matchup,
trying to
Jim.
mentally prep for it.
Get
We'll see.
out of here.
In the words of a friend of mine, we'll see if it's a top 5 matchup. We'll see.
High State can lose this week. Talk about their
Yep.
matchup, Jim.
They play Nebraska.
Who just got stomped.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be good, but I don't think it's happening this year.
Or IU is just legit.
Well, you got a point there.
Google him, Jim. Just Google him.
Google.
Google them.
Top 25 action. Number 1, Texas goes down as Georgia beats them in prime time, which for a marquee matchup should be 30-15
Welcome to
That
the
was
SEC, Texas.
that was a marquee
sad about
game
this.
too.
in prime time, where it should be.
Texas looked bad. Yours. I saw what Nate sent us. Is he legit sitting out the rest of the year?
Is that fake news, Nate, or is that real news?
Apparently 24/7 Sports posted that he's going to sit out the rest of the year to prepare for the draft, and then they deleted that. So who knows?
I think
But
that
they
was some
deleted
trolling.
it.
I mean, I
All
could
I know
see
is
it.
if that is true, he would immediately be off my draft board.
No question. If one loss pushes you to that, yeah, you're out.
I mean, I could see it. 3 hours ago, he responded. Let's see what his response was. Quickly deleted, released a statement that 24/7 was hacked.
It just
Right.
And he called it fake news.
They were hacked and magically clickbait arrives.
He calls it fake news. So, I mean, I think he was rattled. I think Arch Manning has better composure than yours. Not as good a quarterback, in my opinion.
Yet.
Right.
So
But, yeah.
Archman only came in for that one drive. Right. And I think that was just to settle down Ewers, but it didn't work. Georgia beat him very easily, handily. This is never in doubt. We did have the situation where the Texas interception was reversed in Texas's favor. For the first time I've ever seen this happen, where the officials get together after the fact and change the call after 5-ish minutes of downtime. After the fans threw shit on the field, Sarkisian goes out there and tries to settle him down, and the officials come back and say, "Oh, by the way, we changed this call. There was no pass interference. Texas ball at the Georgia 5."
yeah, while you were throwing things and we had time to look.
Because we want to make it out of here alive.
There was ever a time where a fan base had any type of sway over what was going on in the game. This was the time.
Mm-hmm.
Can't argue that.
Nate, feeling any way about it?
Nope.
It's so controversial today. Oregon beats Purdue 35-0.
Yeah, that
Why are we
happened.
putting teams in the top 10, top 5 on Friday night?
Because
Welcome to the Big Ten.
Big
Nate.
Ten? Stupid. Blame Kevin. Fucking asshat.
here we go. We're back on We Hate Kevin.
I don't think Kevin was part of the expansion, was he?
He did the negotiation of this
Hey,
deal.
we
I
need a
think.
Kevin button from Home Alone. Kevin!
Kevin.
That's good. Miami beats Louisville 52-45. Thanks. I think there was another controversial call in this game.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
on
what.
a incomplete fumble that Louisville picked up and scored, and then they reviewed it and ruled it incomplete, which I think they got that right.
Yep. Cam Ward stating his case to be included in Heisman discussions.
All right.
He should be up there. He's a super senior. He's going on what, year 6 playing college football.
But he's actually performing, unlike Cam Rising.
Yes.
So I think we don't think we can be too upset about him.
Well, Cam Rising isn't performing because Cam Rising isn't playing.
Right, but he's older and performing, not older and getting hurt.
True.
Tennessee takes out Alabama, gets those goalposts again, gets fined. Tennessee
Stupid.
wins 24-17.
Bama just
Stupid.
looks bad.
Yeah, they don't look great.
What's stupid, Jim?
Taking that goalpost. Dumb.
Because
And you set yourself up because the Vanderbilt Tennessee game is also like a rivalry. Seems like everybody's a rival in the SEC. But when they did it, they actually could make it out of the stadium with the goalpost. Those numbskulls can't get it very far. And the
Well, they're
cops
probably
actually
like-
won.
They don't want to lose their goalpost again, so they
No,
were
they
like,
tried real hard. There's like video. They tried real hard and the
no,
cops
no,
won.
I know. I mean, like, I feel like the stadium was like, we have to set some kind of like difficulty level.
That could be.
but
Like
yeah.
once.
What does this say about these teams? Like, does this validate Tennessee in any way, or is this just you won against a team that's on a down year right now?
Yeah, I'm at that.
I think it keeps Tennessee in the conversation of like decent. I think that Alabama is definitely having a down year. It's not the same as like beating them in previous years.
Yeah.
LSU beats Arkansas 34-10.
Boo.
I think we'll find
Yeah.
out more about LSU in the weeks to come.
This is basically going to be all the response you're going to get. This week was not fun for college football.
Iowa State beats UCF 38-35.
That was a good game to watch.
Yep. Clemson beats Virginia 48-31. I think
Happy
Virginia scored like 21 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
left the ass.
They did. Notre Dame beats Georgia Tech 31-13.
Yeah, I'd rather they're going to stay relevant for a little bit.
Yeah.
BYU beats Oklahoma State 38-35.
Snuck out of that one.
Friday night game, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
that was closer than should have been.
BYU still undefeated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed. Texas A&M beats Mississippi State 34-24.
Way too close in that game.
Yeah, Mississippi State's been just an absolute doormat so far this year.
But
Yep.
they've also kind of been a menace. I mean, they only lost to Georgia by 10. I mean, they're like they're not winning. They're definitely doormatish, but they're like, I don't know, starting to like put a little pressure on some people.
Yeah. I think this is more SEC kind of like situation.
Yep. Cincinnati in Indiana, the game day game this week, going to Nebraska and put a whooping on the Cornhuskers 56-7.
Indiana, legit. Also,
I don't
for a
know.
lot
I
of-
don't know if beating Nebraska makes them legit,
I
but they are
think the
undefeated.
style in which they did it and the manner in which they carry themselves now put the rest. And you're a Big Ten fan, so what? Or you're a Penn State fan, so I can't speak for your fan base, but I can say the rest of the fan bases were kind of like, "Uh-oh, like that's not going to be a gimme game."
Well, no, and that's a good showing too of putting a team away.
Yes.
Like we just said, like Clemson let up 21 points in the fourth quarter. This is the exact opposite. That's putting your opponent, or what did my high school coach always say? Like stepping on their throat and twisting it.
Yeah. I thought that was of the weekend. That was the game where I was like, that one matters the most.
Leave a tuna time from Pittsburgh to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
you
much.
build off of wins like that.
Yep.
Missouri beats Auburn 21-17.
I think Missouri came back in this one.
Yeah, they did.
They
I think
did.
they scored the last 14 points.
I almost took Missouri money line in this game because it was kind of and I was like making a parlay, and I just like, I don't know, Missouri trust issues. They should have stomped Auburn. Auburn is terrible this year.
Missouri's going to have a tough road the rest of the year in the SEC. SMU beat Stanford 40-10. Illinois over Michigan 21-7.
Yeah.
We had
Peace out,
helmets. We had helmets. We had jerseys.
Illinois looked good, but I'm not sure that's a testament to Illinois.
So they're
Like,
playing or their jerseys and their helmets.
yeah, all around. I just don't like. I look forward to the Ohio State Michigan game, and I certainly want this year to matter. Like, I want to win because like cheating bastards. But like, no, regardless what happens to Ohio State the rest of the year, I kind of feel like this is going to be a big ass beatdown.
But we're going to rush the field because that's acceptable.
I don't even know if that like it's starting to be like not acceptable.
Right. This is what Alex posed you. I remember Alex said, "What if Michigan's unranked and not relevant, and you win? Can you still rush the field?" And
I
you were
don't
still on board
know.
with it.
Yeah, because I didn't think that was like a reality, but it's starting to become a reality.
And the time has come.
If you guys
Alex.
rush the field after beating unranked Michigan, I will make fun of you. I am saying it right now. So there's
Oh yeah, that's fair. I think
Yeah.
it's rough.
Army and Navy stay undefeated, beating East Carolina and Charlotte respectively, and convincingly. It could happen, gents. It could happen.
I'm rooting for it.
What exactly? Like, are we saying they both make the playoff?
Army
No,
and Navy could be on a
there's a-
collision course to play 3 weeks in a row
Right.
for the
Yeah, there's
AAC
a-
championship,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the situation. They could play each other in their conference championship, and then the Army Navy game is already scheduled for the week after that.
which is an
And
exhibition,
Right.
and they
And
could both get
then-
into the playoff. A one-loss conference championship loser could get in the playoff.
America.
America, Jim. America.
How awesome would that be?
It would probably be the best thing that could happen to college football this year.
Yeah.
And you got to think, oh my God, this is right around the election. Holy hell.
Well, and we haven't even seen any of the uniforms, as they always have a new uniform every year too.
Oh, could a uniform get done fast enough for like all 3 games?
I bet they've got enough mock-ups that they could, they just need to find somebody to put it in production for them.
Wow.
Yeah, because
So
I got to
cool.
imagine that's something that they're always thinking about.
So cool.
Or do like a re-release of an old one that's from like 5-10 years ago. And like
Yeah.
do a touch up to it. Or do something like interesting to one of those older ones.
Yeah.
Then re-release them. That'd be pretty cool. All right. We have the AP top 10. Oregon number 1, Georgia number 2, Penn State 4, Ohio State, Texas, Miami, Tennessee, LSU, Clemson, Iowa State. Any surprises here?
No.
No, I feel like
State
there's such a
top 10.
drop off after like 6.
What do you mean by drop off? Like before I agree or disagree.
Like I'm just like thinking of like the way these teams have looked. Like, yeah, Texas has one bad loss. I guess you can call it a bad loss to Georgia. They just did not look good. But like thinking of the way these teams have looked this year, I feel like Tennessee has looked pretty shaky. I just don't like Brian Kelly and LSU. Clemson, I feel like okay. Iowa State really, I don't think has been tested like severely, even though they had a tight win this past week. So me, I feel like it's the top 6 and then everybody else.
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
disagree for now.
Yeah, that's where I'm
I
at.
don't know.
It's like a ticky tacky thing, but I would probably say swap like LSU and Clemson. But it doesn't
Sure.
matter.
I'm just not, I don't know where Tennessee belongs yet. Like I just don't know. I think their wins are becoming less and less.
I also think
impressive.
it's hard in this playoff thing. Like we're still doing it by strength of schedule. Is that still a thing?
I think it's part of the consideration.
Because like
Strength of
BYU,
schedule, strength of record. I think are like the two things that they talk about.
BYU undefeated, Iowa State undefeated, Indiana undefeated, Pitt undefeated. Whereas like Tennessee, LSU, Clemson, all 1-loss teams. Ohio State. Mind you, Ohio State lost to the number 1 team. I get it, but like and Texas lost to, I guess, the number
2 team.
2 team, but it's very hard for me to say, yeah, Clemson should be ranked above Pitt.
I think they eventually play each other though.
Yeah, that's gonna sort itself out.
But like still, like in the ranking,
I don't think Pitt's really
But yeah.
beaten anybody.
Yeah, Pitt. I mean, Pitt's played WVU. They've played Youngstown State. Some of-
Clemson hasn't played anybody.
yeah, but I feel like Clemson probably has played more like conference opponents or more like FBS level teams than Pitt has.
They lost to Georgia.
Yeah, and that was opening week of the season, right?
I mean, okay, I see what you mean by FBS. All right, fine. Okay. All right.
All right.
But I'll tell you this much, like if Pitt beats Syracuse and beats SMU,
That'll be a big game for SMU if both teams come in off another win.
right, because then that's a ranked in conference win. Where Clemson will have not.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. I don't know. It's just weird.
Nothing
I-
matters. This AP crap doesn't matter. It's the college football playoff committee's vote or rankings that matter.
Right. And that's why I'm like trying to figure out what are they basing it off of? Money? That sounds about right.
I mean, that is the product they're putting on the field. They want
Right.
it to be highly rated. I don't think there's anything that
Like you can't tell me, and I know I'm a Ohio State homer, but you can't tell me that Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, I mean, they don't make the playoff. Hook or crook, them big teams don't make the playoff. Hell, Miami even. Money. So games of note next week. Texas and Vandy.
Ranked Vandy.
I think Texas rolls them. If there was ever a team I thought could come up with a after a loss and have a chip on their shoulder, I think it's Texas. I think Sark has them up for this one. Good friends. Good.
You were rolling. I have nothing. I
was
to
waiting
offer
for
on that game.
feedback.
I have nothing on that game.
Feedback.
I honestly, I think that what you said is probably what's going to end up happening. Texas wins by 3+ touchdowns.
I don't know. Keep giving them all that fuel muff.
LSU versus Texas A&M. I think it's gonna be a close one. Well, my honest opinion.
Close like it was a few years ago when we had 9 some overtime, so 74-72.
That'd be awesome.
I hope.
It's so good. Notre Dame and Navy.
Oh,
Let's go. Let's go, Navy.
Agreed.
Oregon plays Illinois.
I don't really think that means much.
I mean,
Who's traveling?
I believe.
I would think it's got to be Illinois because Oregon just played at Purdue.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Yeah, Illinois is done. Dead. Put a fork in them. They're done for that game already.
You think?
Yeah. Illinois, I mean, did not look convincing in any way against Michigan, who can't do anything aside from play defense sometimes.
I kind of want to side bet you here.
On what? The spread or straight up?
Definitely not straight up. I'm not stupid.
Well, then I'm not doing it because you just said you had confidence and it's not that confident apparently. So
you give me 7?
I'm giving you nothing. You just said you wanted to bet because you think it's an issue for Oregon to play Illinois.
You said they're dead and done. You can't give me 7 points?
No, done. Game
So
over.
they're not dead and done. So they have a fighting chance.
I'm not going to bet you on the spread because you seem so confident that Illinois is going to make
You
this a
seem
game.
very confident that Oregon was going to make this a game or it was just going to kill them. Ball game over.
What's the spread? I don't even know.
21.5.
Yeah, I'll give you 10 for a quarter.
Deal. All right, that was fun. You want controversy? I'm trying to make it here for the show here, bud. All right, winners and losers. Let's start with me. Ha! Iowa and their fan base, big winners.
Iowa?
Not Iowa, Indiana. Sorry. Indiana and their fan base.
So what happened to Iowa this week that I wasn't aware of?
Yeah. And then Illinois as well, because they beat Michigan. Losers of the week, Michigan. Fuck you.
Alex.
Sorry, I was watching an update on the.
We know we can see you. That's what the whole YouTube's gonna see is you looking up at God.
At the Chargers game. Okay. My winners and losers of the week. My losers are WVU and Texas because I think they had a really big chance to put a stamp on being the best team in the country, and it did not go as planned. And not only that, they lost in kind of a ugly fashion. My winner of the week is everyone who has a coach that's not Neil Brown.
Well done, sir. That's good poop. Nate, you're next.
My winners are Illinois for the customized leather skin helmets, and UTEP for finally breaking their 9-game losing streak.
Okay.
My losers are USC.
That was
Go
a
back on the road and lose at Maryland.
Blew a
bad.
lead 2
That's
weeks in a
bad poop.
row.
Bad poop. All right,
My
Bob, you're up.
lose this week is Matthew McConaughey.
Don't you feel bad for him? Like, he has done this to himself. I get it. But, like, he is now the fan that win or lose, they're going to show a picture of him.
All right.
That's why.
As a fan. I mean, he is the loser of the week. I agree with you on that.
He lives and dies with it, and this
Yeah,
week
he does.
This week he died.
He did.
So I mean, he steps in the box every week. I'll give him that.
If he wasn't so damn handsome, I don't think I'd feel as bad.
Yep. Winner, Kirby Smart. Georgia gets a win, and everybody forgets that he assaulted an opposing quarterback last week. Now,
He most certainly did. I don't forget.
so but the winner is Kirby Smart and that potential arrest for assault, brother.
Brother.
All right, that wraps up college football, which brings us to other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting news in sports.
All right, Nate, this is you, buddy. These are all sports that you keep up with right now and not me.
All right. So, in Jim's favorite sport of baseball, the New York Yankees win the ALCS over the Cleveland Guardians 4-1, and the Dodgers take the NLCS over the Mets 4-2. So we have the two Metropolis biggest spenders in the league, of course, facing each other in the World Series, which for whatever reason doesn't start until Friday.
Baseball.
It would be so cool if Shohei would somehow pitch in this series, but don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, that would
Baseball.
that would make it worth watching for the masses if Shohei was doing something like that. Yeah, Guardians put up a fight for a team that's lower end of the payroll scale. Is that right, Nate?
Yes.
They're definitely on the lower half.
They're big.
Yeah,
claim to
definitely on
fame.
the lower half. I bet you that their team payroll is probably the equivalent of either Judge or Stanton, if not combined.
Alex?
I was just commenting. Wasn't Cleveland's big thing like their bullpen pitching, or I don't follow.
Yeah, they had the best closer in baseball in the regular season, and then he just got blasted in the postseason. Like they showed his ERA during the regular season was sub-1, and then it went to over 10 in the postseason.
Yeah. Indeed. Hockey. What's going on in the hockey world? Jim,
So-
Nate?
In Jim's neck of the woods in Columbus, as it was opening week, the Blue Jackets honored Johnny Gaudreau at their home opener with his wife and kids coming out on the ice for a pregame ceremony with both teams.
Yeah.
And I wish I would have put the guy's name down, who was like Johnny's best buddy, who's now in the Blue Jackets, was kind of front and center there, helping out. It's gonna bother me. I can't remember his name. Anyway, the Blue Jackets raised the banner in the rafters with his name and number 13 on it. And to start the game, they opened up without a left winger and ran 13 seconds off the clock.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Also in the hockey world, we already have a goalie goal this year. And at first, when I watched this, I said, holy shit, Fleury did it. Only to find out it was Philip Gustafson of the Minnesota Wild, not Fleury. Because I remember because McAfee had a bet with Fleury. I think it was like he would donate $1 million to whatever charity of his choice if he would ever score a goalie goal.
Almost.
So to say that I was extremely bummed when I found out it was Gustafson and not Fleury. Damn.
The Kraken.
4-2. Second in the Pacific. And yes, Nate, I will be watching them tonight if you're listening to this, as they play against the Colorado Avalanche on the ESPN. Super pumped.
It still sounds so weird to say we're watching hockey on ESPN.
It does sound weird, but way more convenient.
Yes.
Way more accessible. Alex, how the Penguins doing?
The Penguins, I know they play Calgary tomorrow night. Let me look what their actual record is so I don't misspeak. They're a game-to-game fan right now. I'm not going to lie. And my CBS Sports is learning, so fill airtime here. They are.
Penguins are 3 and 4.
3 and 4. Why? Well, if you knew that, why didn't you just say that?
Because I thought you were reading along. 3 and 4, third in the Metro.
Didn't have the note thing up.
But they're looking for a goalie who can stop the puck. Defense, not the strong suit. And a positive on the offensive side, Sidney Crosby scored his 1600th point. 1600th point. First player to do so since Jaromir Jagr in 2011. Becomes the 10th member of the 1600-point club and the fifth fastest to reach that mark. Evgeny Malkin became the 48th player in NHL history to score 500 career goals, scoring off his ass.
Basically, if we score under 6 goals, we lose.
Nate, how did that goal go down? I thought I saw this, but apparently not.
So Malkin, I think, had shot, and it went off the goalie's blocker or off his leg pad, and he literally was on his ass going across the crease and hit his own rebound into the net.
There we go. Did it with his buttocks. And last, another interesting news. The WNBA season has come to an end as the New York Liberty take Game 5 in overtime to win their first title in a controversial game.
I was just going to say, wasn't there some like officiating controversy?
There was definitely some controversy towards the end of this game that people were saying the New York Liberty, the fix was in, as Breanna Stewart took a ball around the 3-point line, seemed to take 4, 5, 6 steps, and then get a phantom call that helped get the game to overtime.
Such is life.
But the New York Liberty do win. Sabrina Ionescu, I think, was one of the players of that final game. I don't know if she got the MVP, but she definitely was doing some good things leading up to the end of that game in overtime. Game 5, New York Liberty take it away. Any other sports items from this past week, everybody?
No.
Alex,
Not
visiting
really.
hours
No,
are
it's
over?
football season. Yeah, visiting hours are over. You missed that.
All right, we can't go visit Alex now.
Yeah, visiting hours are over. You have to come before 9. No, I feel like right now I'm very deep into football season, so I watch pretty much football if it's on, and that's the problem. Like, I'll watch Penguins games like tomorrow. They're on at night, and they actually play later, so I'll probably be like laying in bed watching them. But it's just hard for me to hit my stride in any like other sports realms while we have football on, if I'm being honest. But
Okay, pleasant break.
the Wheeling Nailers have a home opener November 2nd. If anyone's interested in ECHL hockey, so
Yay.
Jim's just upset that he can't attend as many Frosty Fridays as we would like to.
exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
He's not betrayed Jim.
You're absolutely right.
One day, buddy. One day. All right, that wraps up this week's episode of Sports Stuff Joe and Muff. As a reminder, you can catch the Sports Stuff Betting Stuff episode on Thursday. Make sure that you tell all the people in your sphere, all the people in your areas of influence, all the people around you.
We listened to the betting episode. I know it's late, but we listened to it in the office at work today. They were just like,
Did
"Yeah,
you
we
do this
music,
because
let's-"
you performed well this week and you're like, haha, let's listen to this
No, I
guy.
really didn't even request that to be a thing. They were just like, "Oh yeah, I forgot you do a podcast. Let's stop listening to music. Let's listen to this podcast." So if they end up listening all the way to the end of this episode in the office one day, hey guys,
Alex is living in the South. The motto of this podcast by telling a friend, making a friend, being
Be,
a friend.
friend.